What's going on, everybody? It's David Mitchell here, voice of Autism, episode 92. Yep, episode 92. And kind of a little bit of a rough week, if you guys know what I mean. But yeah. Also, today is my best friend Anthony's birthday, so Anthony, if you want to, happy birthday. But yeah, for a lot of stuff been going on, and there's stuff that I have realized that I need to focus on and prioritize a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff. And one wake up call from my fiance Velvaria, with for people who don't know, I was in wrong doing, I did something wrong, and I had a wake up call realizing that I need to work on myself. I need to focus on changing a lot, but yeah, I need to focus on prioritizing and working hard. For respecting people, it's something that I need to work on. But yeah, they'll give me a wake up call, and I'm realizing I need to work hard on it. And it's going to take me a while to earn back her trust. But I'm going to work for it. And for people who want to, you guys go to my fiance YouTube channel, because link it down below. But yeah, I'm going to be working for that too. Focusing on a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of stuff. Yep. My fiance just messaged me. Let's see what it says. Oop. But yeah, and it's been a very stormy day outside with raining, thunder, and all that.
Video shoot for a pageant. I feel focused. I have a photo shoot and video shoot for a pageant.
That's my fiance. She have a photo shoot. In a way. 1 minute, guys. I love. Hope you do great. I believe in you. My fiance have a photo shoot today. But yeah. But I'm going to try to work on gaining Joshua's trust back, because that's going to be hard. I'm going to have to earn trust back. Because when he heard about it, he was pissed, and I understand. I can't tell you guys full story on what it's about, but it's something I gotta work on. I'll be focusing on it there will be less relevant video with the one last week, so relevant will be slowing down, and I'll be focusing on a lot more stuff. So I'll be doing less stuff on Facebook, so I can focus on my work and all that, but improving a lot of other stuff, because I need to improve myself and work better. But yeah, it's something I'm working on. But that's something I'll be working on.
With my siblings.
Oh, yeah. But it's something I'll be working on. Also, the thing that I had planned for it to be coming up on the 22nd, I might have to reschedule that. The reason why I might have to reschedule it because my mom had surgery on 22nd on her hand. So that's something I'll be working on and focusing. So I'll be focused on a lot of stuff, but I don't even sign that job application for Costco, where I am thinking about doing a job there. So yeah, and I only got 2 months left before I have to move, so I gotta start focusing on a lot of stuff before November comes through. And I am going, what I said earlier, I am going to try to earn back Joshua trust too. I gotta work on earning back a lot of people's trust. Do a wake-up call that I learned from the hard way, and I need to clean up my act. But yeah, it's something I learned from. But I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. On Val, if you want to, I love you, and I hope you have a great day. For those people who don't know, it is Sunday in the Philippines. It's Saturday night here, but it's Sunday in the Philippines. So, and they're 12 hours ahead. Like it is 9:44 or out 9:41 p.m. at night here, and it's actually 9:41 a.m. in the morning there. They're 12-hour time different, and they're ahead. So I'm technically talking from the past for people who are wanting in the Philippines, and they're wanting me from the future. It's kind of funny, but yeah. But those people who are out there who are thinking about stuff, please to stop and think, would it affect the people you love and care about? And don't brag about your talent. It's something I kind of learned hard way with one of the reasons why. Don't make the mistake I did. But yeah, I learned from it in a wake-up call. And I'm working on myself because of it. So those people out there, please work on yourself and think about it. Before you really invest things that are very important in your life. Trust me. It's very important to do. But yeah. Now let's go to what I am going to be talking about today, and that because there have been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the autism community recently, you know? And I mean a lot of stuff. And it's stuff that I gotta admit. Like, some of it will be in this live stream, and some of it will be probably not weekend in another live stream. But yeah. But I am planning, if I'm able to go to that meeting team for the Autism Network team, I'm probably going to have to find another ride there. Probably have that at my grandma. But if I'm able to, I'm going to have to find a different time to do it. But it's stuff that I'm going to have to work on. And I mean a lot. Because there are a lot of stuff that I actually got to work on. And I actually mean it. Before I do surgery. But yeah, my mom's surgery on the 22nd. But most of I got to talk about of all the crap that be going on with Autism Speak lately, and that concert and all stuff that they are doing. Like, they've been doing a lot of stuff that I find it crazy. it's something that I am working on, and a lot of urge up. Plus, I let my mom get surgery on her hand, got to be helping her around the house a lot more often. So a lot of stuff will slow down. So, yeah. But let's look what I am thinking about doing first. Because I got a lot of stuff that's it. Okay, let's see. First thing coming up. And it is waiting to eat in here with at night time. It's actually a late night live stream. Now, the relevant video, I'll bring it up. They will be still around, but they won't be out often as they used to be. That will be slowed down, and the time that I used to have between 2 to 6 videos per week will go down to 2 to 3 videos, maybe even 4 a week. So it'll be cut down drastically because of stuff that I'm focusing on. Because I got a lot of stuff that I gotta focus on, and I gotta prioritize to become a better person.
April is Autism Acceptance Month. I'd like to start a new post with links to favorite articles, memes, etc. about why we should not support Autism Speaks. We can share these in other groups. Why is Autism Speaks bad? What are some good organizations to support instead of $1? What's wrong with Light It Up Blue? What can we do instead? Image of a blue puzzle piece crossed through. Text says, just say no to Autism Speaks.
Wait. Wow, that's something I forgot about. But, yeah. They were from a few months ago. But it's something that I am thinking about in a way. Because you guys don't know Autism Speak. It's really a messed up organization. They're not even a group that support people on autism spectrum. They're more like a hate group. But yeah. It's crazy, but they are.
A woman from my local support group is posting links for Nemechek and chelation to a struggling mother. Any articles written by autistic people or even scientists that explain why this is really disgusting? I am about to quit said group. I am very disappointed in it.
Yeah, this happened to a friend of mine. They had to quit the group about a couple months ago. Stuff like that, but yeah, it's pretty messed up. Being that, if you guys don't know, I might need to get a new charger for my phone and one for my tablet. Because these ones are not acting right. Like, I have to sometimes turn the phone off to let it charge. With the charger, it worked pretty well with our charger, but I think because my dog kind of got a little handle up one side and managed to chew a little hole in one spot, but they dragged it around. I think it kind of, with the wires some. So, yeah. That's something that I need to think about. But I got, being that the Autistic Self-Advocacy Group, not that ended their partnership with Sesame Street, I supported them on that because one, Autism Speak is a hate organization. They are crap. They're pure evil. And they're disgusting. They dehumanize it. And if you guys went into my live stream from last week, they even sued a 14-year-old girl trying to keep her quiet. An autistic 14-year-old girl. So, yeah. They're messed up.
I came up with this phrase as a way to describe what it is like to always be walking at the edge of a cliff. It is something that most autistic people do all the time. Trans and non-binary gender people do it also. So do a lot of people from ethnic minorities, notably many travelers. Often just being a woman means you live carefully. What does it actually mean? For an autistic person, it could mean not saying you are autistic on a job application, or not disclosing you are autistic on your driving license application. Technically, you need a doctor to say you are safe to be left in control of a car, but those are big things. There is time to think about it and decide what you are going to do, and why. But it play a role in every aspect of life. When do you go shopping, and in which shops? Have you designed a shopping list in a way that allows you get in and out with minimum delay and stress? Have you left extra time to travel, so if you need to escape the bus for a bit, you won't arrive late? Do you have a peak cap or sunglasses to deal with bright sunlight? Actually, did you check the weather forecast? Have you ensured that you have the right socks to wear because there will be walking to do? Have you worked out escape routes from the venue for when it gets too much? Is the escape route going to leave you somewhere safe? What are the less busy times at the cafe? Is there a way to book a doctor's appointment without using the phone? Have you got a plausible excuse ready in case workmates head to the pub after work? Autistic life can be filled with this stuff. It goes way beyond just planning your day. It is about having both a plan to achieve basic daily tasks and an escape route if it goes wrong. And if it goes wrong, a few years back I went with family after Christmas to my hometown Dublin to visit family. That meant trying to politely inform people what things to not put in my food, gearing up for unexpected family pets, dealing with hordes of noisy people, having proper things to talk about, planning escapes and ways to decompress away from my home environment, and ensuring I had whatever tools with me I might need. The list goes on and on. But then I got thrown an afternoon out in town shopping in the sales. I got careless and planned badly because it was a spur-of-the-moment thing. So there I was dropped in the middle of Henry Street, unexpectedly, alone, and surrounded by what felt like a boiling mass of humans churning chaotically around me, the violence of Christmas tunes beating on me out of half a dozen shops, the grinding storm of hundreds of voices, the stink of traffic which had followed me even onto a pedestrianized street, mixed with the random flashes of wretch-inducing perfume as people milled around me. Minutes later
You're saying everybody on the spectrum act differently. Did from one person. Everybody act differently, but there's stuff out there where people make it seem like all autistic people are the same. And people who are on the autism spectrum. It is stereotype, and it's part of ableism that they do a lot to us that need to end.
Minutes later I'm still standing there, unmoving, tears down my face, shaking. My vision is next to gone. So I try escape, but the only thing I can think of is the Jervis Street Center. It has toilets, you can hide in a cubicle for a bit, it's near, you can make it. But it wasn't that easy. The place is full of savage lights and glaring chrome and glass and white walls, and the music does not let up. Even so I found the toilets and locked myself in. That was when I realized.
For the people who don't know, I'm starting to get like a little bump right here on my hand. I don't know what it is, but I got a bump right here that is starting to form. That's not normal. Now look at my other hand. You don't see a bump on it, but you do on this one. But yeah, but everybody is different. Like, I like to fight, but it don't bother me. And I listen to heavy metal sometimes, like loud music. Literally.
That was when I realized what I'd done. The music was even louder in here, it was full of people, and that wall full of screaming, demon, hand dryers were tearing at my soul. Yes, I escaped eventually to side streets and shadows, no major harm done, but that was well over an hour of my life. Yes, it took me that long to cover less than half a mile on foot, which still distresses me. Needing to plan and double-check to design solutions for a half-dozen possible scenarios, bringing...
Be right back, guys. Buddy, Mimi. Mimi. Come on, girl. Okay, I'm back. Let's get back inside.
Needing to plan and double-check to design solutions for a half-dozen possible scenarios, bringing tools with you for your safety. All that takes time and effort. It is stressful as hell. Maintaining your careful mind through social events or busy places or even just the journey to work or college or school takes a massive toll on your energy and on your emotional health. It is a full-time job.
True.
Now drop on top of this a life of being told that you are shy, awkward, weird, quiet, hassle, unsocial, rude, scary, even. All this tells you over and over that you cannot trust your read of a situation, that you don't belong, that you are incapable, don't deserve it, can't do it. So, when you set out to make plans, you double down on everything, stress even more about it because you already know you need to doubt your abilities. Life for many autistics is about slipping from an anxiety to a stress to hypervigilance to overreaction to distress. This is what living carefully means for autistics. It is about extra high stakes. It is about being right there on the edge of humanity where the slightest nudge sends you out over the boundary, all the while desperately aching to just take part. It is about many other groups also live and then people wonder.
Here, Jane, not all autistic people who are on the autism spectrum are like that, including me. We're all different. But yeah.
And then people wonder why we don't handle the subtleties of socialization, take part. It is about juggling threats and hopes, desires and dangers. And then people wonder why we don't handle the subtleties of socialization. Many other groups also live carefully, not all of them small minorities. Women planning a jogging route, the journey from the office to the car, negotiating drunken advances in the pub, not speaking up, not going alone, that is living carefully. And you can be sure that Muslims, transgender, black, traveler, etc. people have their own version of living carefully that enables them to negotiate an uncaring and unforgiving. Is this you? There's a fair chance that enables them to negotiate it.
I'll be honest, my parents are a little racist. And you gotta know I don't support Donald Trump, but my parents do.
Enables them to negotiate an uncaring and unforgiving society. So, given the hard work this all takes, it is actually surprising that those of us who embody the intersection of different careful, living communities can manage to be open and active as advocates, never mind as advocates for more than one of their several identities. There's a limit. You can only ask so much of yourself before it all becomes too much. Is this you? There's a fair chance that this is being read by several autistic travelers who may also be handling being female, non-binary, lesbian, living with a physical disability, etc. in a society that at times seems to present barriers just for the hell of it. It is not easy being the first. It is not easy being the 200th for that matter, but being the first is a burden, a responsibility not to be taken on lightly. For that reason, it is not so surprising that someone who takes 2 or maybe more of Ireland's big 4 groups to discriminate against traveler, black, trans, and autistic would be reluctant to take that step. Lest there be any doubt that coming out as an autistic traveler is a big deal, consider that there are out gay, lesbian, trans, and non-binary travelers. That there are no publicly visible, autistic travelers as yet is a mark of the stigma that still hangs, inexplicably, over that word autistic. But the validity of deciding to not take that step is exactly why someone needs to take it. One day, our peoples will live carelessly, just like them. We will say sloppy things, and it won't matter, make mistakes and shrug it off, go where we like, act out our cultures freely, express who we are casually, and without the need to consider how it might look, how people might react, whether it is safe. But to get there, we need pioneers. When you are ready, we will support you. By God will we support you. 2 armies as one backing you up to the end, traveler and autistic alike, and celebrate a special day for Ireland.
Maybe from Ireland, but we deal with it here in the U.S. too, but people don't know that. And one of the big things I'm saying it from Autism Speak there itself. They are the, I'm keeping an eye on it because the charger, I might need to replace it because it's not fully sending it in like it's supposed to, so yeah.
These poor babies' disappointed face. In NEC's most recent work to date, 1 child has been identified as symptomatic based on these behavioral deficit markers beginning at 8 weeks of age. Once a baby is identified as symptomatic, treatment begins immediately, meaning that for some children, treatment begins within the first few months of life. Applied behavior analysis ABA therapists work one-on-one with each symptomatic baby for 15 to 20 hours per week using a treatment that includes a combination of ABA and the Carolina curriculum for infants. By initiating treatment as soon as deficits are detected, under 6 months of age, we may increase the likelihood that these babies will not be diagnosed with autism by age 3.
And I was a victim of Carolina and AB therapy with. The fact is, this shit that go on here in South Carolina, for the people who don't know, it did heart-filling and disgusting. Like, literally. It's disgusting on so many levels. Like, it did get me fucking pissed off that stuff like it's around.
The New England Center for Children announces research study on autism in infants. Share article. The Infant Sibling Project seeks to improve early identification and treatment of autism in infants. Southborough, Mass. PR Web March 8, 2019. The New England Center for Children registered trademark NEC registered trademark, a global leader in autism, education, and research for children with autism, announced today the Infant Sibling Project, a research study to identify early signs of autism in infant siblings of children with autism and to develop interventional treatments. Led by Drive. Becky McDonald, the Infant Sibling Project seeks to replicate and expand research by Grobner and Salas 2017 of the Wisconsin Early Autism Project that identified early signs of autism in infants. While existing research on children with autism indicate that symptoms first appear after 6 months, some indicators may be detectable much earlier. The Infant Sibling Project will further identify and study these indicators in the first months of life. Currently, clinicians will not diagnose autism prior to a child's first birthday, missing a potential opportunity for early intervention. Our hope is the Infant Sibling Project will reveal that earlier age and greater intensity of treatment will result in best outcomes for infants and children with autism, said Drive. McDonald. If our findings resemble those of Grobner and Salas 2017, we will have a robust set of data to add to the field of autism. By initiating treatment as soon as deficits are detected, under 6 months of age, we may increase the likelihood that these babies will not be diagnosed with autism by age 3. About the Infant Sibling Project, identification, intervention, therapy. The Infant Sibling Project includes examination of potential early behavioral markers that may predict a later diagnosis of autism. These pilot data combined with the outcomes from Grobner and Salas 2017 will be the first empirical evaluation of very early onset autism. The Infant Sibling Project will entail weekly developmental screenings to detect and monitor the emergence of any symptoms at a micro level. This procedure is unique in the field as most researchers evaluating symptomatology do not assess children at weekly intervals. In NEC's most recent work to date, 1 child has been identified as symptomatic based on these behavioral deficit markers beginning at 8 weeks of age. Once a baby is identified as symptomatic, treatment begins immediately, meaning that for some children, treatment begins within the first few months of life. Applied behavior analysis ABA therapists work one-on-one with each symptomatic baby for 15 to 20 hours per week using a treatment that includes a combination of ABA and the Carolina curriculum for infants. Parents will also be trained to implement the babies in responsive play-verb curriculum to teach targeted skills in the child's daily activities using the principles of ABA. In their current treatment work, Drive. McDonald and her staff have seen increases in performance on targeted skills once therapy is initiated. This allows for the baby to start to catch up to typical performance and safeguards against losing skills over time. Because this therapy is unique to children under 6 months of age, NEC will develop a manual that prescribes activities to teach autism-specific social skills to infants while remaining sensitive to the developmental needs of the infants. Using activities framed in the context of play and social interaction, NEC can provide many opportunities for learning in the natural environment. NEC's goal is to work collaboratively with Grobner and Salas 2017 to create this manual for other practitioners and parents. Seeking further infant sibling participants. The NEC study currently has 18 infant siblings of children with autism ranging in age from newborn to 8 months old. In order to determine what...
Because it is on a dangerous ledge. So, I mean, more effectively, did it put in a danger and it's something that we need to avoid. Like, literally, it's up out of danger. It needs to end, needs to stop. Because if it don't, there's gonna be a whole holocaust of the autism community. And I'm just saying it, and I'm calling it out for what it is, before it even happened. We're all discriminating, we're all segregation, and all the crap that we are going through. It's up that a danger for our community. And I guarantee if we don't stop it, if it keeps on happening, there's going to be a higher rate of autistic and people who are on the autism spectrum dead in the next few years because of this shit right here. And I'm not joking. I really mean it. This shit right here that is fucking sick, that needs to end. Literally, just think about it.
In order to determine whether these behavioral deficits are indeed related to a future diagnosis of ASD, we will need a larger sample size.
Oh, hell no.
Drive. McDonald continues to seek study participants. Babies must be under 6 months of age and be a sibling of a child diagnosed with autism. Please contact NEC at 508-481-1015 or email Drive. McDonald@bmcdonald.net.org. About the New England Center for Children. The New England Center for Children registered trademark NEC registered trademark is a world leader in education, research, and technology for children with autism. For more than 40 years, our community of teachers.
Here's Gene. Did a dirty fucking secret that this place, they used to support the Weinberg Center. And they used to support electric therapy toward autistics. Yeah, they used to do that damn fucking same thing that is still going on in that one place. Autism Seek support them too. So yeah, it's fucked up in a way. This shit needs to quit, and I fucking mean it.
For more than 40 years, our community of teachers, researchers, and clinicians have been transforming lives and offering hope to children with autism and their families. NEC's award-winning services include home-based, day, and residential programs, public school partnerships, and consulting. The John and Diane Kim Autism Institute. The ACE registered trademark GABA software system URL currently used by more than 6,100 students and teachers in 27 states and 10 countries. An ABAPLIS trademark, an online professional learning platform for educators. NEC received the 2017 Award for International Dissemination of Behavior Analysis from the Society for the Advancement of Behavior Analysis SABA, a 501c3 nonprofit. The New England Center for Children is based in Southborough, Ma, and operates a center in Abu Dhabi, UAE. More information is available at
It's messed up.
Educators. NEC received the 2017 Award for International.
It's something that we need to quit. It's something that is messed up and it needs to end. If you want people on the autism spectrum to do better and have a better life, sit is where you work on it. You work on ending shit like this. You work on ending fucking discriminating, racism. That's how it's going to work. Not with sciencey shit. Can't you get that? They tried doing it to the black people. They tried doing it to the Jews. And everybody know about World War II. What happened to the Jews when it came to the Nazis. With the Holocaust and eugenics. And how they tried to use science. Exactly what's going on to the autistic community. And the reason why I know this, because my grandma was born in Germany. Yes. I have. And my grandma mom was German. My grandma dad was American, but here is that my grandma mom seen the shit that going on there. And she told Dad, it's something that I know from my grandma, she told me about it. And some stuff that going on. And it's stuff that I know about. Just think about it. Science don't help make life better when it comes to shit like this. It may when it comes to cure for cancer and all that, which they're still trying to find. But for people who are on the autism spectrum, people who are different color or religion, no, it don't. They tried the exact fucking same thing toward the Jews. And we all know how that ended up. And we know they tried doing it to black, but that did not even get a chance to start off ground. Really backfired on them when they tried doing it there. I know the fucking dirty stuff that they do. It's stuff that don't work. They did want to say, don't. If we get rid of racism and discrimination and all that, stuff won't change. Yeah, it fucking will. You have to work towards it.
Going back from Spain today, I have the pleasure to announce you I'll gladly be soon back in some activism business. Autism advocacy, don't wait. Next action will take place on August 22nd around 4 o'clock p.m. in Paris. Autistes will be protesting the recent events of institutional abuse and violence that occurred in Amaz Maison d'Accueil Specials against autistic young adult. Anyone from the UK and nearby are invited and highly encouraged to join us. We'll focus our main actions on using street art techniques by inviting with us ND street artists. We'll otherwise use signs as well as we'll sit in front of the regional agency HQ, which have under its responsibility the Maz where the events occurred. For more information, PM us or we'll do some updates eventually. Thank you all for your listening.
It's it from a friend of mine. He one who's setting up that scene. It's up that it worked on. Like, well, let me check. It's slowly charging my phone, but yeah. But it's something we're working sort of like. If we can stop with the discriminating, the ableism, the segregation, and the pure bullyingness, or like bullying, we can make stuff better for autistics, like me, my fiance, and everybody else out there, and make a better world for it. Like saying, oh, finding a cure would work. If it will not. It will cause more problems than anything out there. Like, literally. It's something that we need to focus on and work on. Oh, the camera trying to adjust. Sorry about that, guys. It keep on going. I need to find something to work better.
Is awareness or acceptance the goal towards which we should strive? And actually autistic view of the debate in autism communities. Feast.
I'm connected to both. I see both points. Like, I literally see it from both sides. Like, it's something that I'm still looking around. For people don't realize. But there are a lot of stuff out there. But it's stuff that we need to work on. Because if we don't, nothing will change if we don't work towards it. Like, literally. Just think about it. There are a lot of autistics out there. Like, it's stuff that may be crazy, but you have to just think about it. Literally.
Autistic Acceptance versus Autism Awareness 5-Min Read by B. Neal 89 August 12, 2019. 3 comments in Autistic Acceptance versus Autism Awareness 5-Min Read. What is the difference between awareness and acceptance, and which do autistics need from their allies? An exploration of this source of contention. There is a point of contention in the autism community, not to be confused with the autistic community, awareness versus acceptance. Which of these do autistic individuals truly need? Being aware of something means drawing your attention to it. In the medical community, awareness is associated with action. Breast cancer awareness aims to find a cure for breast cancer. Suicide awareness strives to bring an end to suicide. Diabetes awareness hopes to develop a cure for diabetes. Autism awareness is associated with the desire to cure autism. This is problematic for two reasons. First, the cure for autism does not and never will exist.
Exactly.
Second, even if it did, a large portion of autistics would not be interested in it. Autism is not a disease.
Exactly.
Autism is essentially a less common brain type. It would be impossible to cure individuals of autism without changing key parts of who they are. I spoke with several autistic individuals and parents of autistic children. The following is what they had to say. I can't stop being me and wouldn't want to stop being me. The suggestion that we would need a cure hurts because that's what it seems to imply minus that we shouldn't be who we are. Brandon, homeschooling parent. I wish it were easier for my daughter to pick out clothes that don't cause her distress. I wish finding food that she enjoys were a more simple task. I wish she didn't get easily overwhelmed by change and overstimulating environments. But I love her beautiful mind. I love that she is truthful and analytical and passionate. Would I like life to be easier for her? Absolutely. Would I take away her struggles at the risk of destroying her strengths? Absolutely not. Beatrice, early childhood professional. I think this is based in something I heard somewhere, but if you made my autism go away, you'd make me go away. Emily Voles, rabbinical student and writer. When a brilliant writer, painter, or dancer is discovered, we don't judge them by their lack of interest in economics. Autistic minds are selectively brilliant and, rather than focusing on their weaknesses, we should be drawing out their talents. Wendy Katz, 39, autistic blogger and social worker. But what about people with low-functioning autism? Many people believe that while those with mild autism might not need a cure, those with more severe cases do. One problem with this line of thinking is that a person's place on the autism spectrum is not linear. A child entering therapy...
Here, Jane. They had me, if you guys know that I've talked about this before, they had me at the low functioning end, like low on the low end spectrum with. I think they need to change it from a spectrum, Jane, to autism, Jane. And Jane, if people on spectrum, we can mature. How they have it then, we will probably act different when we get older. We change. I'm here to change. It don't bother me. Literally.
A child entering therapy for autism might be considered low functioning. Perhaps they have yet to toilet train at the age of 5, have limited conversation skills, and are not progressing at the same rate as their peers academically. After receiving occupational and speech therapy, they may make huge strides in these areas. It is not that the child is incapable of learning. The child simply needs to be understood and taught in alternative ways. Once they have acquired new skills, they gain a new function label. They move from the perceived severe end of the spectrum to the mild end. But in this scenario, the autism did not change. The acceptance and teaching methods did. This tells us that if we were to somehow cure those with more perceived severe cases of autism, we would potentially be robbing them of the life they could build for themselves as an autistic with proper accommodations. We would be needlessly altering a core piece of their identity. The second and perhaps more important problem with seeking a cure for autism is that even those considered low functioning are valuable human beings exactly as they are. They do not need to be improved upon in order to be worthy and autonomous individuals. I'm low functioning. My autism is severe. My house is always a mess. My husband picks up a lot of my slack, and I have a hard time going out in public due to sensory issues. I'm a great mother, but I have help with childcare, too. There are times when I can't speak, and if I do, what comes out is gibberish. My executive function is so low that sometimes the steps to complete the most basic of tasks, like paying a bill or sending a text, are overwhelming beyond my capacity. Yet, I run one of the most prolific non-profit disability websites in the world. In some ways, the rest of the world is low functioning compared to me, and that's okay. It should be okay that I am really good at a few things and terrible at everything else, but given room to be who I am, there are many people dependent on me. Interdependence is not inherently negative. It should be a point towards which we all strive to contribute according to our ability levels and strengths. I use my strengths to bolster others who lack those specific skills, just like others help me in the same way. The end product is better than what any of us could have created on our own. Tara Vance, founder of the Aspergergen. My daughter being non-speaking and aggressive at times during meltdowns is hard on both of us, but she is also her own unique person, and I literally couldn't picture her without autism. If they developed a cure for autism, I would probably immediately say no. So many of her autistic traits are what I love so much. I wouldn't want to lose her energy or zeal for life. I feel so strongly about my baby. She's the best. Amelia, mother of autistic daughter. My autistic children are exactly who and how I could ever want them to be. It is as the allistic culture crashes into them, and they into it, where the gap lies that absolutely needs extra consideration, accommodation, and modification so that these amazing beings get a chance to contribute to the world at large. Den Blum, MD, mother of 3, artist and advocate. My son is non-speaking and considered severe. I still wouldn't cure his autism. I would not be able to separate what makes his life difficult at times from what helps mold his personality. He is a wonderful person whom I would never change. Matthew, customer service professional. Autism is neither all good nor all bad. Like most things in life, it falls into the gray. Autistic individuals face unique challenges and sometimes require more help with daily tasks than their neurotypical counterparts do, but they also often have talents and strengths as a direct result of their neurodiversity. These differences give us room to learn from each other and gain wisdom from the experiences of those who are not like ourselves. These variances allow us to each demonstrate our unique strengths. They create the opportunity for us to turn to each other in times of need. Autism does not need a cure because autistics are not broken neurotypicals. They are not improperly designed humans. Neurodivergent individuals are simply built differently. They are a break in the pattern of what is familiar and expected, and isn't that wonderful? So, yes, be aware of the autistic community, but please be aware of more than our existence. Be aware of our needs. Be aware of our strengths. Be willing to accept us exactly as we are.
Exactly. That it's up we work toward. Just think about it. It's up that we need to work toward.
I know people have no sympathy for parents that forget their babies in the car, but the other day, I had a moment where my schedule was wacky because Skylar has staggered days right now. The first 2 weeks of school she does not go every day. She happened to have been up in the middle of the night and was sleeping in late, which wasn't usual either. I literally forgot she was at home and thought that all 3 kids were at school for a good hour. It is possible to forget and think all kids are safe and sound. I'm sure most of those parents who left their kids in the car love them with all their heart. The human brain can't always keep up with the human heart. Brains are flawed. They don't always do what we want them to do.
For those people who've been living on a rock or don't know, all stuff that have happened with parents leaving their kids in car, stuff like that do happen. You do forget. You think people, even if they're parents, will probably won't forget their kids in car, but they do. Just think about it. And it's stuff that do happen. Just think about it in a way. You gotta work toward it and just think about it.
Neurotypicals who live with and/or love an autistic person, do you ever wonder how you can come home from a hectic day with the word stress practically written all over your face, and your partner doesn't even ask what's wrong? Do you wonder how it's even conceivable that your co-worker is always talking to you about his pet snakes when you've clearly shown your disgust in facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice? There is quite a good reason why we can't read your facial expressions, body language, and/or tone of voice. You have very clearly indicated your distress, disgust, anger, even desire for romance, and you're just being ignored. To us, you haven't said anything at all. This may not be the first time you're hearing this either. Many autistic people, once we become aware of our neurological differences, will take care to explain this to our NT counterparts in detail, but it is often not taken seriously. I don't know why this is, but it happens, and way too often, in my opinion. So, I'm here to tell you that if an autistic person tells you that you do have to ask and clearly verbalize your wants, needs, and feelings, take it as seriously as you would anyone else telling you they need it. Accessibility. And that's just what it is, accessibility. Neurodiverse people rely on clear, verbal or written information in order to do what's expected of us. Subtlety is lost on most of us, and what is obvious to you is simply not to us. Not only is it not obvious, it doesn't exist. Your repeated sighing or the crease between your brows isn't even on our radar. It's not that we don't care, it's just not information we can read. I mean, you wouldn't try to communicate with a blind person using sign language and then get upset when they don't understand you, right? It's the same concept with autistics. Can we learn to read facial expressions and body language? Yes, some of us can. However, most of us have learned by being repeatedly abused, and that's the psychological equivalent of training a chihuahua with a cattle prod. The best way to get us to understand your wants and needs is to tell us. You can also let us know what certain expressions mean. This helps us to make connections, and as we get to know you, we'll actually have a chance of learning you organically instead of being frightened into it. And if you still think, I shouldn't have to ask, is an effective way to communicate with the ND person in your life, tell me, which is the man in the photo? Neurotypical or neurodiverse? Because this type of miscommunication tears us both apart, equally. Accessibility, man against a dark background with his face in his hands in despair or frustration. There is white text that reads, I shouldn't have to ask. Why this phrase ruins relationships, and what to do instead. Disclaimer, my posts are based on my own personal life experiences as a late-diagnosed autistic woman and others in the autistic community of varying age and gender. While I am absolute in my statements, I do not ever mean all autistic people or all neurotypical people are 100% like this, whatever this is at the time, and that there are no exceptions. There are always exceptions. Rather, these posts are meant to begin dialogues across the neurotypes and help facilitate understanding on both sides.
Exactly. It's up in, I can read people's facial expressions, some, but not a lot. I need to get a new charger for my tablet. But it's something that we go through a lot, for the people who don't know. But what are we? Just think about it. It's something that we need to work toward. I gotta make sure it's something that today, that 17, that from a couple weeks ago. A lot of shit have been going on the last couple of weeks for the people who don't know. And what happened with Sesame Street? That, I can't prove that they done that.
So a friend started saying things like we're all a little bit autistic and that. I wanted to educate them a bit on how that isn't true, and is in fact quite a damaging thing to chuck about, but didn't want it to come across as an attack. How would you tentatively explain this to someone? I know this phrase usually comes out of an attempted empathy, which makes it hard for me to know how to address.
Well, it depends on who you are. Even though I'm on an autism spectrum, or technically I am autistic per se, I know what's going on. But yeah. But I think the one that I was talking about, it kind of missed it out there. I think it kind of got it lost. But here, another thing that I've been talking about.
If you condemn conversion therapy for LGBT's rainbow flag, but on the other hand, support ABBA for neurodivergence brain, you are either an ignorant fool or a fucking hypocrite. It doesn't need to go deeper into details to realize that both are basically the same. They use the same philosophy model of raw, non-human material, trained into being a true human, which is rooted in the concept of normalcy and conformity. They use the same tools with the same goals to make the weirdos appear indistinguishable from others. If the problem wasn't that serious, you'll appear more as a bunch of clowns clown face to me. I wouldn't have to consider people like you a danger for autistic children, which by the way, never wanted to experience these things you push into them without their consent. If you support this and refuse to listen up, you are not allies. You are just foes. Biohazard sign, 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 biohazard sign. Neurocore brain rainbow flag brain rainbow flag brain rainbow flag brain rainbow flag.
Exactly. Dang it, there we go. But yeah, That's something else. Just think about it. It's something that we need to adopt them from. Look, I don't support it, and if I do get being a part of the Autism New Network, I will get my voice out there. And if I want, and I'll have them understand that there are some stuff that people who are on the autism and who are autistic find a little, in a lot of ways, discriminated, a little bit offensive, and all of that. Wow.
Trouble on Sesame Street, Julia, an autistic Muppet, was an emotional triumph. So why is the show now helping promote insidious ideas about neurodiverse people? By Sarah Luterman. August 16, 201,912:55 p.m. Alan and Julia in Sesame Street, Sesame Workshop. 4 years ago, Sesame Street introduced Julia, its first new Muppet in 10 years. At first only in an online picture book, and later the show itself. The character, an autistic 4-year-old girl, was shaped by a diverse group of autism advocates and researchers. Julia is sunshine yellow and never without her beloved rabbit, Fluffster. She has fun with her good friends Elmo and Abby Kitaby, 2 of the most popular characters on Sesame Street. Julia was even featured on a float in last year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. She was a triumph of representation for people like me. Advertisement. And now, Julia is being used to promote a resource that suggests parents of newly diagnosed autistic children go through the 5 stages of grief for their still living child, among other regressive and dangerous narratives about autism. I am autistic, like Julia. Instead of a childhood full of social rejection and isolation like mine, Julia's life modeled a better world. Until very recently, Julia's difference is embraced by her friends. People go out of their way to understand and include her. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that the first time I heard the amazing song, the show's anthem about autism, I cried. We all can feel happy. We all can feel mad. Doesn't sound revolutionary, but many still believe.
Here, Joker. I believe something like that was going to happen. I did not know when, but it's something I actually knew that was going to happen. I knew Autism Speak Albert. I knew that they were going to pull a bullshit trick like this. And I know the reason why. They bribe the people who work for Sesame Street with money. An organization like that will do anything they can.
We all can feel happy. We all can feel mad. Doesn't sound revolutionary, but many still believe that autistic people don't feel at all. Crucially, one of the groups behind Julia was the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, the only national organization by and for autistic people in the United States. It was groundbreaking that Sesame Street told stories about an autistic person in consultation with actual autistic people. We are rarely the ones who tell our own stories, and most of the stories other people tell about us are sensational or just downright awful. Ironically, a felled puppet with a traffic cone, orange nose is one of the most realistic, informed, and positive representations of autism to ever appear on television. Advertisement. But now, the organization is no longer involved. Autism's decision to break with Sesame Street this month might seem surprising at first glance, but it came on the heels of the show's baffling partnership with another group that's enduringly divisive among advocates, Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks is behind the 100-day kit for young children, which describes itself as a tool designed to help assist families of children recently diagnosed with autism during the critical period following an autism diagnosis. Autism.
That reason why. That. Well, if I do, I'm going to bring it up with the Autism New Network, and Autism Speak probably going to be regretting shit that they does. Because more that they get out there, the bull crap and stuff, more that people will know how bullshit and dirty stuff is. But yeah. But it's stuff that need to change. And I mean need to change. Like, it's up that you did have to think about, in a way, because nothing will change unless we work towards it. Did think about that. Ooh, I'm definitely kind of started to feel a little symptom from here. Maybe I don't know when I went out with my friend. I think I started feeling sick from something. Don't know what. but hope that not the case. So, but yeah, but it's stuff that we need to work on. Stuff won't change unless we work towards it, like literally. Just think about that. Oh, and I won't be able to do videos out on the day of my birthday with my fiance, like I tried doing last year. No reason why, because my fiance will be on a leave with her church with the reason why. But yeah. But it's crazy to just think about. If you think about it in a way, but yeah. It did messed up, and it do get me frustrated that stuff like this still go on. But yeah. Now this was from the tent, and it was from my fiance Val. And just because yeah, I know I gotta do something every time when it comes to my fiance.
Do you join a choir for your own personal intentions, or for both your own and for others that will matter in the near future in terms of cataclysm approach towards positivity? Choirs should never tolerate any type of bullying and discrimination. Our purpose of joining a choir is we are here to make friends, command fellowship and leadership, and most of all, making high quality of music and sing for the audience of one. Thou shalt not be afraid to be advocates of standing up for what is best for the choral community. We welcome all sorts of life. Just let it be, because God has never told us to boast our talent but share them through God's greatness. I am Val Baria, a proud chorister for 8 straight years.
Did it from last week, Mr. Stream, I did from my lovely fiance Val Baria. For you guys who don't know, that was from her. But yeah.
Internationally off day #proud PWD #autism individual #strong beliefs #living with autism #my rocky journey, rejected, busted, stolen, broken, stupid. Those words are sharper than y'all thought. What I wanted in life is to be a leader to a healthier community where the long-term goal, utopia, will take time and effort of all of us individuals across the world. Yes, I have also plans to be part of any reputable organizations such as UNICEF, and because I was inspired by those stories of many people who experienced struggles in their lives. If I weren't to be a famous singer, being a humanitarian and a diplomat could be a greater idea than to sunk in myself to depression. I wanted to be part of such humanitarian activities, in particular on PWDs, persons with disabilities. Oh yes, I've said PWD many times. Not only that, I wanted to be a mental health advocate too, since it was a connecting advocacy of an autism individual. Yes, as a youth, leading people to a greater direction and higher heights, it's the hardest thing to do. Join me through video blogs to inspiring stories, from FB posts to IG photos that speaks to me. I'm here to be with you, helping and serving y'all the best that I can be. Don't expect me to be perfect. Don't expect me to be the person you favored. Don't expect me to impress for a show. Don't expect that all the requests will be done overnight. It takes time and it's plans to organize. Strong encouragements and love will help me get through to my dream of being a future leader representing persons with disabilities to the international youth stage. So put your guns, grenades, crowbars, chainsaws down, and put your hands up if you're with me. I echo back what Joan of Arc said to her commanders: those who love me, follow me.
And that was from my fiance Vilvaria. She is an advocate, and here's something. The stuff that I told her about the bullying, about all that, she have changed the stuff that I told her about it. Because she never knew it until I told her about awareness and what it actually stands for. She now prefer acceptance. Acceptance is something that I go for now. Like, I used to go for awareness when I was younger, when I first started. But I realized how wrong it was, and now I'm looking for acceptance. But yeah. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informational. And I hope you guys found stuff that I'm saying motivation and all that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys. Signing out.